Excellent. I'd love to chat quickly about a company called Palabra, which is actually a launch company now. Palabra is, let's talk about the business first, and then we can touch base about the person. The website is palabra.io. Actually, it originally got started as a product a bit adjacent to it now. Originally started as kind of a Zapier for email. And Karen, the founder, did a nice job of focusing it on a much more specific use case, which is basically this. No one has truly kind of dethroned Salesforce to date. And I think the right strategy to dethroning it is not trying to build the whole thing whole hog, but just plucking piece by piece off. And so the message for Palabra is this, and maybe we'll pitch it to Cortland here. You have users arriving on your website. There are different flows in a funnel in terms of where you'd like them to be. You're not a traditional SaaS business. You're not selling software, but maybe you can imagine person made an account, person submitted one upvote, person wrote a post, person wrote 5 comments. And maybe that's kind of your terminal goal is I want to get a lot of users into the 5 comment phase because you figured out, boy, if they just write 5 comments, they're committed. And so it organizes your users in different steps of your funnels, and it'll basically automatically manage when to email each user based on triggers and different steps of their funnels. And it's not the only tool in the world that does this, but I do think it's one of the more specific and precise ones. Like you can contort Salesforce to do this, but you can contort a database to do whatever you want. It's still helpful to have a more specific tool. Karen, I really see as, I don't know if you guys have read his books, as Elizabeth Salander from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You're kind of penultimate hacker, female hacker personality who is seemingly very strong and quiet. Like you won't hear her much on, we do all sorts of calls and Slacks. Quiet assassin. You said it best. So,
well, I mean, it's so interesting because I watched her, we're having like a little inception point here. I watched her on you having her display the product, and I just watched her and I just thought, who is this person? And I think she had like $500 in revenue, something completely de minimis. And I just said to my team, like, usually we're looking for more than this, like 5 to 25K is kind of our sweet spot. I was like, get me this person. We have to get it. Just so completely understood her customer. And then I was watching her build the product, and I had looked at different videos you had done with her. And I think that's actually something very strong you're doing, Daniel. And even though you're an introvert, you fake being an extrovert pretty well on your live streams. Nobody would know. And those live streams are so, so powerful that you do, where you bring somebody in who's a founder, who's notable, who's got knowledge, and then you just have them give feedback to another founder. And then, people are lurking. And so I'm sitting there lurking and I'm like, wow, what a great idea. She's doing this email automation and these triggers, and it looks like Notion. It looks beautiful. So it's got this incredible design. And then I went under the hood and I started looking at, her expense base and how quickly the product velocity was. And that's one thing I'll say, Daniel, about the companies, Remote Hour and Palabra. The product velocity is extraordinary on those two companies. It's some of the fastest I've seen. And we all know speed is important because with the iterations comes the lessons, right? You start to learn and understand your customers faster than your competitors or just another company. And that means you can get to profitability, get to break even, before you run out of capital or run out of energy. Cortland, any thoughts on Palabra?
Yeah, I like that insight that they're moving quickly. I was talking to David Shu, the founder of Retool, on the Indie Hackers podcast a while back. And when Retool got started, I was always in their little intercom chat bubble saying like, hey, I need this feature, I need this. And they were incredibly quick about executing and getting new features out the door. Same with Heroku. In the early days, I was using Heroku, and I was talking to the founders and the early engineers, and they were like iterating super quick. And every company where I've seen this pattern, where I'm trying to build something and they're like building features, the same day I request it, I regret not investing in those companies because they always end up being worth a ton. So maybe we should be investing in Palabra.
Well, it's interesting. That's a very interesting insight, is that the velocity could equal the success eventually. It could be like a really good tell. Keep going, Cortland.
You want more iterations through the loop. And the faster you're going, the more iterations you go through the loop, and the faster you learn and you course correct. I also like that it seems very opinionated. These kind of tools indie hackers eat these tools up because they're all trying to build websites. It takes a long time to build something. It's hard to find traction. And when an opinionated tool comes around that gives you more insight about your users, And not only that, but tells you like, this is how it should be. Like you should have a funnel set up that, your customers or users go through, et cetera. People just build better companies, not because they're genius founders, they've read a bunch of strategy playbooks, but because the tools themselves are telling them what they should focus on. So I like this because I think it will end up, assuming it gets big, increasing the size of the top of the funnel because more founders are going to find it easier to get started and to find success, which means I'll have more success stories to broadcast on Indie Hackers itself.
I am in love with a new product. It's called Chart Hop. It's new to me. I mean, it's been around, to be honest. Many of you are already using it. You can go see it at charthop.com/twist. When you want to create an organizational chart for your company, this is a critical moment that shows you are venture fundable. If you know, these are my top executives, these are my units, this is my group that's going to do customer support, this is my marketing group, this is my CTO, this is finance, this is operations. Well, you can do all that and make like some cruddy little drawing with like some painting program or sketching program, or you can make your own org chart that has all the data around all of your people. We call this people data. We call it human capital in the industry. But in this org chart, you can also put in performance reviews right into the org chart. And you centralize all the data there, and you can build a nice, agile, adaptable, and inclusive team because you can look and say, hey, where's my diversity? How am I doing with building out my organization? And at the core, a startup is about people. We all know that. Go to charthop.com/twist and try it out today. You're going to get $600 in credits. I talked to the founders. I talked to the marketing team over there, and I said, just give people hundreds of dollars. Just come over the top and throw, just grab a handful of hundies and throw them at the audience. Well, here it is, charthop.com/twist, $600 in credits. Go and get it. Set up now. Basically, that $600 is going to cover your first 5 employees on the platform, which makes it no-brainer to get started. Go ahead and check out ChartHop, ChartHop.com/twist for $600. Get it now because I don't know if they're going to keep that offer up.